I've been posting like my favorite books from 2019 or my favorite books from 2020. But one of the practices that's actually helped me to read a lot of books is to purchase and map out the books that I'm gonna read in the following year. So, in the last quarter of 2020, I purchased all the books that I planned on reading for 2021. And so in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys all the books that I plan on reading this year. Maybe you wanna grab one of these too. I'm not endorsing these books. I have no idea if these books are good, but these are the books that I'm going to attempt to read in 2021. And that's what this week's video is all about. Let's go. So, part of the way that I even figure out what I'm gonna read next year is a couple of things. First of all, if I've tried to read a book in 2020 or 2019 and I failed to read that book, then it makes it on the list for the next year. That is definitely the case with this book by Eugene Peterson. It's his memoir called The Pastor. I have tried to read this book multiple times. I've gotten pretty far, actually. I've gotten pretty far, yeah. That's page 77 is highlighted. But I've not been able to finish this book. It's been phenomenal so far. I just think life happened, things happened. This book is a slower paced book. And I like books that focus on productivity or that focus on getting things done or mastering skills. And that's just not what this book is about. This book is more to enjoy. I mean, it is a memoir. And it's a slower paced book and it's long. It's been amazing so far, but this is on my list to finish in 2021. And I'm a bit of a stickler on reading books like straight through. So I will probably start again from the beginning and then attempt to finish this book. This is like, good God, this has been on my list for 3 years running. It was on my 2019 list. I started and failed. It was on my 2020 list. I started and failed. And now it will be on my 2021 list. Third time's a charm. I'm going to finish this book this year. It's going to be amazing. All right. What do we have next? All right. I bought a whole lot of books by E.P. Sanders. I think the next 3 books are all by E.P. Sanders. Yeah. So, one of the ways that I determine whether a book is worth buying, worth reading, is the author. One of the reasons that I bought The Pastor by Eugene Peterson is because I had read some other books by Eugene Peterson and loved them. So I typically will start reading one author and I'll get lost in that writer's world for months and months and months on end. These are 3 books by E.P. Sanders. I'm in a doctoral program led by a man by the name of Scott McKnight, who you'll probably see a couple of his books in here. And Scott McKnight talks a lot about the new perspective on Paul and this guy named E.P. Sanders. And we were in class and he was talking a lot about E.P. Sanders. He even assigned some of E.P. Sanders' writings for us to read for homework. And I just didn't really know who E.P. Sanders was. And I got tired of just kind of not knowing. And so I bought 3 books from E.P. Sanders. This first one is called Paul, A Very Short Introduction. It's a very tiny little book. And I will probably read that one first. And then we've got Jesus and Judaism, which I've heard is a great book. If you know some other E.P. Sanders books, please let me know in the comments. So, I will attempt to read this. It's kind of thick. It's kind of like textbook style. So, that should be good. And then Paul and Palestinian Judaism, a comparison of patterns of religion by E.P. Sanders. Really, really excited to dig into that. That's another thick book. Another textbook. Whoo! Man. Whew. I'm overwhelmed already, guys. All right. And then I have heard so many good things about Kingdom Through Covenant. I'm really excited about this book. Again, this is another thick textbook style book. But I follow so many influencers on Instagram who have talked about this book I have friends that have read this book and they just say it's amazing. So I bought this book in 2020 as preparation for my reading plan for 2021. And I'm intimidated by the just straight sheer size of this monstrosity. But I'm really excited to dive in. And I'm ready for my mind to be blown. I've heard this is an incredible book, a biblical theological understanding of the covenants. So, all right, Peter Gentry and Stephen J. Wellum. Hopefully this book makes it to my favorite books of the year by the end of this year. We've got another Scott McKnight book. We probably have a couple Scott McKnight books. I have been deeply, deeply impacted by Scott McKnight's writing. Like I said, I jumped in a doctoral program. He leads the D-Min, a doctorate in ministry. He leads that program at Northern Seminary where I am a student. Super excited to be in the program. And so I'm going to be reading the Jesus Creed this year in 2021 by Scott McKnight. This is his most well-known book. So many copies of this book have sold. And so I'm really, really excited to jump in and to read the Jesus Creed. And I kind of know what it's about, but I don't really know what it's about. I'll find out. Reading Romans Backwards is a book. Romans is one of the books of the Bible that has always been really, really difficult for me to understand. If you're someone who's heard me preach, you've probably never heard me preach a sermon on the book of Romans. Like I've kind of avoided the book of Romans for a long time. But yeah, this is the year. 2021 is one of my goals for the year is to really be able to understand the book of Romans, to maybe even teach Romans on Arma. And so I'm super, super excited about this book, Reading Romans Backwards. It's Scott McKnight's book on the book of Romans. So a gospel in search of peace in the midst of the empire. Awesome. What else we got? This is a book that I tried to read at the very, very beginning of the pandemic, okay? I tried to read this when the world went into lockdown, and I wonder how far I got. I've got highlighter marks all the way up to page 74 on this. No, even 85. I read a good chunk of this. I read maybe a third of this book. This is Renovation of the Heart by Dallas Willard. Renovation of the Heart by Dallas Willard. I've heard incredible things about this book. I've actually read bits and pieces of this book. I've heard a lot of people quote this book. I loved the beginning of it. I just think, stress of a pandemic probably got overwhelming. This is like thick, like content to work through. It's very heady, slightly philosophical, but it was really, really, really good. And so I'm excited to finish this book in 2021. We'll see if it makes it on my favorites list. The Lost World of Adam and Eve. Really, really excited to jump into this. John Walton has become my favorite. I mean, I love this guy. John Walton's book, The Lost World of Genesis 1. Is it The Lost World of Genesis or Genesis 1? I can't remember. I have it over there somewhere. His book on the Lost World of Genesis was a mind-blowing, paradigm-shifting book for me. And so I really like John Walton a lot. Really looking forward to diving into the Lost World of Adam and Eve. And there's a contribution from N.T. Wright in this book, which leads us to the next book. Again, I'm in this doctoral program, and the new perspective on Paul comes up a lot. And so this book by N.T. Wright is What St. Paul Really Said. I started reading this in 2020, and I probably got one chapter in. I loved it. Who doesn't like N.T. Wright? I loved the beginning of it. I actually started reading this book while me and Tia were in Barbados doing IVF. And so there was a lot going on. And so I didn't get to finish this book, but it is on my list for 2021. And I'm super, super excited to dive in and to wrap my mind around this new perspective on Paul. Super, super excited about that. Today's content is sponsored by ClearStream. ClearStream has been a game changer. Actually, I have a clip of me using ClearStream at a youth conference this past year. How about you take a look at this footage?
I always got more sermon than I got time. So here we go. You can text the word get up. I think we've got this graphic this time. You can text the word get up to 97000 and you'll receive a 5-day devotional on this sermon.
In a matter of seconds, thousands of young people all received a devotional plan and spent that next week diving in to a Devo plan based on the sermon that I had preached. I have enjoyed using ClearStream. Their customer service is amazing, and I'm not techie. So their platform is super, super, super easy to navigate and easy to use. How about you check out the link in my description on this video to learn more about ClearStream. Let's go. My good friend, one of my best friends, his name is Trent Shepard. He wrote a book called The Jesus Journey. I've been meaning to read this book for years. He has specifically asked me to read this book. I've been friends with Trent for such a long time, over a decade at this point. Me and him are actually getting our doctoral degrees together. We're in the exact same doctoral program at Northern Seminary. He is one of my closest friends, one of my favorite people on the planet, and he wrote this book called The Jesus Journey. I'm super, super excited to jump in. This is on my list for 2021, and it is a 40-day encounter, so I'm really, really excited. I love the subtitle, Shattering the Stained Glass Superhero and Discovering the Humanity of God. Oh boy, wow, that's really cool. All right, The Jesus Journey. Again, I feel like I've tried. Oh man, he wrote me a special note on the inside of this thing. That's really cool. Thanks, Trent. Yeah, he wrote this to me May 2019, the 4th of May 2019. And I think that's when I tried to start reading it, and I failed. I remember Trent dropped me off at the Boston Logan International Airport, and I was on a flight from Boston to London, and I was going to read this on the flight, and instead I slept. So, sorry, Trent. I'm going to read it this year, though. Love you. Here's a book that was edited by Scott McKnight. All right, so I think we had 2 Scott McKnight books down there, the Jesus Creed and Reading Romans Backwards. This book is edited by Scott McKnight, and it's Perspectives on Paul. Perspectives on Paul. I have no idea what this book is about, and Baker Academic sent me this book. Yes, Baker Academic sent me this book for free. So massive shout out to Baker Academic. They wanted to send me some free products so that I could read and review. So there's probably going to be a review coming out on this book at some point later because Baker Academic sent this to me so that I could review it. Really, really excited about that. This is on my reading list for 2021. All right, and I'm really excited about this. I think Baker. Come on, Manny. Baker Academic also sent me this one. That's why these 2 books are together. Baker Academic sent me The Pastor as Public Theologian. The Pastor as Public Theologian by Kevin J. Van Hooser. I've seen this book talked about on social media a lot. Super excited to dive in to this book. Yeah, I would say that I'm a pastor and I'm striving to be a public theologian. So this is right up my alley. Thanks again to Baker Academic for sending me these 2 books. I'll probably do reviews on the both of these separately because that would be more like sponsored content. So, hey, my goal then is to, let's see how many books are down here. I map out the books that I'm going to read. These do not include the books for my doctoral program, okay? Let me show you the books for my doctoral program. This is the stack of books for my doctoral program. Right now, for class in January, we're going to read Destroyer of the Gods by Larry Hurtado. Then we're going to read The Religious Context of Early Christianity, a guide to Greco-Roman religions. All right. And then we're going to read Roman Religion, a source book. And then I've got to read texts and documents on faith and piety in early Judaism. How much fun. And then we've got to read Divine Honors for the Caesars, the First Christians' Responses. Great. Oh, by Bruce Winner. I love Bruce Winner. He has an amazing commentary on Corinthians called After Paul Left Corinth. Incredible. And then we've got to read Among the Gentiles, Greco-Roman Religion and Christianity. So for my doctoral program, we are going to be studying Christianity in context of Greco-Roman religions. And so that's this stack of books just for school. That doesn't include all those books down there that I'm going to read just to become a better person and for fun. So let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do videos on how to read more, how to know what to read. I'd love to provide any kind of content to help people read more books. I'm a reader, and I love helping other people grow. I don't read because I like to read. I read because I like to grow. And I think that leaders are readers. I don't think you can lead people unless you're feeding people. And by a responsibility to feed people means that you have to feed yourself. And I don't trust anyone who's feeding other people and not feeding themselves. So this is the stack of books that I'll be digging into for the calendar year 2021. At the end of the year, I'll tell you if I actually read them all or if I failed. We'll see in December. Till next time, peace.